play. XP throttling is a go around quite a bit in the community, um, both on message boards and in YouTubes and shit. And it is, it is what it is. It's because they want. Bungie does it because they want to make sure you're playing as long as possible. They don't really mean to do it to be mean or anything. They're just doing it because they're afraid that if we could blast through content, we would get bored and walk off and do other things. Other things as in like playing other games. But honestly, for me, it's like I play more regularly the faster I clear the so-called required or ritual content. And yeah, that's just the way I am. I mean, I play every day. I play for about 30 to 45 minutes every day. Specifically to do the gunsmith bounties, but then sometimes I'll wander into strikes or gambit or whatever. I mean, if you look at my Destiny tracker profile under artist poet PlayStation 4, you'll see that it's not yeah, you'll see that I binge this game quite a bit. I mean, I have an obscene amount of time spent in this game. And not a lot of it doing things like trials or raids or masters or legendary sectors or whatever. Just fucking around and playing, because I mean that's what the game is. Duh, it's just a means to fuck around and play, something to do while you're waiting for other things to happen, or you just want to contemplate shit, because it's fun. But anyway, so yeah, this guy. I'm gonna single him out. Yes, guy. I know that's like a YouTube faux pas or streaming faux pas. But anyway, so I have no interest in doing this strike. This one and the corrupted and the hollowed lair. Those are the top three that really kind of just bore me to death. And it's boring in the same way as I find golf to be boring. If I want to go for a nice long walk, I'll go for a nice long walk. I don't have to mix it up with, a violent swing of a weapon at some poor innocent object. So yeah, and and I mean, when I do a strike, I don't think of strikes as being these long, tactical, drawn-out affairs with mechanics and shit like that. Strikes are like you charge in, bust down the door, swat the fucking contents, take the loot, and go home. That's a strike, okay? Raids go on for a while. Raids can go on for a while because, trials in Elder Scrolls Online is like the Destiny's versions of a raid, and they are events. They are daily afternoon activities. It's kind of like when I used to sit down to play games at the local card shop, Magic the Gathering, whatever was on the menu that season, and I would spend a good 5 or 6 hours in the shop. Pretty much. I mean, there's been days where I was there when they opened and left when I closed. And my wife would stop by with the kids and make sure I was still alive. bring me things to eat. We'd have lunch and we'd have supper together there at the shop, and the kids would play and she would play, and it was a day. It was a day out with the lads. Not really my friends, but just buddies I knew through the game and things like that. And that was fun. And the Destiny's kind of like a low friction version of that, in the sense that you don't have to like drive anywhere. You don't have to gather up 20 plus pounds of gaming materials or anything like that. You could just hop on the console, load into a lobby, and get going. And that's cool about video games. I like that about video games. But what I don't like is saying, wait, you can't. Nope, you can't. You gotta wait. Wait for it. It's gonna get better. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be awesome. Watch this. No, I don't like that. Like this. This is BS, Ugh. And I have a super that doesn't really do very much burst damage because it's my Void super, and I don't like using the knifey ones. It's just kind of like, oh, come on, guys. So. I mean, fuck off. You're a hunter. You're a titan and a warlock, and you're getting dominated. Give me a break. And you can't even blame it on light levels, man, because even at low light levels, I don't fucking die that much in this kind of shit. This is not that much of a fucking. This is. This is Candy Walk. That's why it's so boring. You know, back in grade school, I I would get like A's and B's on my tests, but then I'd be like D's and C's on my homework. And there's a reason behind that because I found homework to be tedious, boring, nonsensical shit. This is coming out of the head of a 10-year-old, okay, guys. I'm sorry, and it got so crazy that they actually called in psychologist or psychiatrist. I don't know. They had my IQ tested. They ran me through some some evaluation things and shit like that. And the counselor that that talked with my parents and the teacher, and of course the principal of the school, said that he is quite literally bored to death. He is bored. That's why the only time you ever see performance is when it's a test. And yeah, that's kind of the truth. I mean, no, I'd fail pretty miserably when it comes to spelling and shit like that because I think the English language needs a lot of reworking and simplification. But it's like, and then of course it's like the immediate retort from my teacher was, well, if he's mastered the material so well, then why doesn't he just do well all the time? And the counselor who was talking to the group was like, because he wants a challenge. He wants a challenge on his own terms, and that's true. I like setting my own challenges, and if I'm thinking about doing something else, it's a grind. If I'm thinking about what I'm doing, but not kind of like really into it, that's a farm. If I'm totally into it, I'm binging. And you know what? I binge math. I binge science. I binge in spite of the fact that my spelling was at the time very really shitty English. I binge history. I binged all those subjects. I love learning things. I really did. But all I was thinking about the next time I could draw, or paint, or sculpt, or sew, or work in the garden at the house, at our house, and because we had a small little dirt patch that was set aside for just my brother and I to dig holes and shit in, and I actually started planting things. I would grab clippings from around the yard, and this is something that my nana introduced me to, gardening. Because my mom and my dad were not big gardening types. My mom was known as a brown thumb. She would just kill any plant that came in the house. We had this creeping Charlie in the dining room, ivy plant, and I don't need to be here anymore, do I? I think I completed this. And just annihilated the poor guy. And so I took it over, and within about a week, the fucker was had overgrown its corner and was like creeping along the curtain rods in the dining room. Because we had a small kitchenette kind of style dining room. It was just I think about 15, 12 by 12 space. Really not that big. These were small houses, not duplexes, but they were small houses. And she loved it. I mean, she thought that was great because I offered to prune it back and and move it away from there. And she goes, no, 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 I like that. That looks awesome. And but yeah, so I mean, I've got this little bamboo plant in my study here, my little office space that I made, and it's it's coming up on 24 inches now, and it started off at about the stalks I think are measuring at about 6, maybe 3 to 4 on a couple of them, and then 6 inches on two, and it's I've had it since my birthday, I want to say, and it's thriving, and it's been indoors. It's had no natural light whatsoever, and I feel bad about that. But I take care of it. I make sure it's in a nice, calm space, which is why, like I said, I'm not going to drill my ass and stress myself out anymore. I used to get hella stressed out with this game. Oh my lord, I would be raging on anybody who wasn't performing, And now it's kind of like 80% of the time I get into strikes, the other two people are just racing ahead, tearing ass through the map, killing everything. I mean, it got to the point where it seemed like anything I would target, they wanted to outshoot me. And ever since crossplay happened, and I started playing with more PC and Xbox players, cloud players don't seem to do it so much. Cloud players really seem to be a lot more chill than even PlayStation players. But yeah, the Xbox and keyboard guys, they were like, if I was shooting at something, they had to have the finisher on it, or they had to get the final blow on it. I'm like, it's kill stealing. You don't really get full credit for it. And then I started realizing, and it happened so much, after crossplay, and it was happening so much even before crossplay that I got burnt out on it. I just realized that, you know what? If you're chasing that leaderboard, you go for it, man. you go for it. If that's what's going to make your day, if that's going to keep you from kicking your puppy, yeah, bless you and please do. And so on strikes like the Corrupted or Hollow Lair or I don't even think the no, we don't do the Knockless one anymore. Never mind. Those strikes, the Corrupted, the Hollow Lair, the Red Keep. I just kind of take my time. I just tool along. I don't fucking care. They can kill whatever they want. I'll be there to res them like you saw. I'll res them up and all that stuff. I got Elastic String, but then I get garbage. That's got a draw time ass to work on it, but doesn't really change much. I don't think it's worth it. Slightly faster draw time. Shit, drastic. Tragic. Yeah, no. Yeah. This is what I'm talking about. I mean, I've gotten pretty much all the weapons I would want to play with. I don't need. Yeah, I don't care. It didn't even have a good stat roll on it. This is my main right here. This is what I play. I'm just doing this for the catalyst, but normally this is what I play. Murder, 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 die, die, die. That's what I do. But anyway, so yeah, when it comes to throttled activities, I don't like that. I don't think that's good mechanics. I don't think that's good gameplay design. I mean, can you imagine you're playing Uno, and because Uno's a fast-paced game. You're playing Uno, and all of a sudden it says, wait! But for no reason, just wait. Now I have to get up and get a bathroom. No, I have to get this phone call. No, I have to answer the door. No, I have to make sure the dogs aren't chewing each other's faces off. Nothing like that. Just wait. I mean, you'd be like, fuck you! Seriously. Seriously. I used to play in Magic the Gathering games all the time, and I would play competitively. Not like Sweatlord competitively, but just like, I would play competitively. And I hate it when my fucking opponent would, like, it's the last two turns. It's going to be the last two turns of the game because we only got like 2 minutes, 3 minutes left on the clock. And they will drag out their turn. And it got so bad with these people in the shop that the judges for the shop finally said, okay, at time, if you can get your turn done in less than a minute, you get another turn. So it's like, say for instance, the guy, my opponent's like takes up the last 5 minutes of the clock, deliberately, hanging on his decisions. The judge, is supposed to be watching all the games, and so he comes over and he'll be like, when you're done with this turn, this me Hako gets to take another turn, and I would win. I would win matches and win the tournaments specifically because my opponent was trying to bleed the clock, not realizing that house rule in the shop was that if you drag the clock on your turns and it's obvious, we're going to go ahead and award the other guy, And the unspoken etiquette was that you didn't ask for a second turn. You didn't ask for another turn after the clock, even because it was up to the judge. It was all judge's call. And no, I wasn't like a shop favorite or anything like that because it was a pretty fair metric. We had 3 judges during the events, and they were each of them, had to make sure they watched the table. And at 5 minutes to the clock, they would say, they would call out, 5 minutes left, make your moves, or finish your rounds. And yeah, so these guys who were coming in from other shops thinking that they could go ahead and bleed the clock on their final turn, not realizing that I get a final turn. But more often than not, my games were pretty decisive. Within about 15 minutes, well, less than 15 minutes, I had either burnt out my life total or I had burnt out theirs or decked their library. So, and that's kind of like my pattern. I don't like playing games that take hours of time. I love playing Warhammer 40,000. When my brother and I first started playing, we played with small forces, like 5 or 6 models each, and that was because we didn't have the money to afford massive armies like our friends were doing. And eventually, we did grow up to like 2,500 points in our armies. I had like something like 60 orcs, or which is like low. It's like two. That's two mobs. No, that's like 60 orcs is like, I think that's two mobs. I think it's 30 orcs for a full mob. But anyway, but I had like about 60 to 80 orcs. I had about several dozen Tau. I mean, it took forever to move all those little guys because it was a skirmish-based game. It's not like a battle trade game where you move groups of miniatures at one time. So movement took up the most time, and then of course if your characters had multiple weapon types and attack types in general, it would take that would take the game's drug on. I mean, 3 hour games, and I was like, I would do a tournament at a local shop. It was an all-day event, and by the end of the day, my back was sore, my head was pounding, I was thirsty, I was hungry, my eyeballs were burning because they were just red tired, and I'd get home, and we'd eat a meal, and I would crash, and I did about, I would say maybe a good close to a dozen different one of those tournaments. No, that can't be right. I played a lot of leagues, which were all day things, and it left me feeling the same way. But basically, I realized that I love playing Warhammer 40k. I like the rule set on the basics, the basic rule set. I like the factions. The models are really fun to paint and build and customize. But I don't like spending 3 to 4 hours on a table. And then Kill Team came out again, and I was like, this is where I want to be. And it was so hard to find anybody to play Kill Team, but games were a brutal 45 minutes at the most, and because you were playing with smaller forces again. And that's the thing is that I realized that full table 40k is for whales and for people who feel that they're not valid unless they're flexing. It doesn't thud when it hits the table. It's not worth going on with. And I don't like that. I don't play that way. I've never been that way. Um, if I'm boasting or bragging or flexing in any form at all, it's how efficient I am. What I can get done with fewer resources versus what everybody else has to do with massive amounts of investment. Because that's I find that to be more tactical. I find that to be of better value. Is what can you do with your limitations? Oh, that's a really good roll. I love Dragonfly. Oh my God, ricochet rounds. I don't do pulse rifles, and they don't have a Seraph pulse rifle. I might keep this one for a little bit. Play that one for a little bit. These are nice. That's a nice roll. That's crap. What is crap and what is good? I don't know. That's a subjective real. I mean, some things are objectively crap, and other things are subjectively crap. But I think that you could tell pretty much after you play the game enough and really play the game, really play the game, really play your character. I've been maining a hunter for pretty much all of Destiny 2 and the latter parts of Destiny 1. And I know the hunter. There's a lot of mistakes that I make that might be viewed as mistakes, but for me, they play the hunter. And I think that's what I like about it. It's not about being in a comfort zone. It's not like not ever wanting to move out of town or move out of house or change jobs or whatever. But I mean, it's kind of like it's kind of like when you find your niche, this is where you're supposed to be. This is where you flourish. This is where you have the most fun. I have fun playing a hunter. I don't really have fun playing a titan, and I don't have the patience for all the sing-song, twinkle toes, floaty dancy shit that the warlocks do. It's not me. That's not who I am. That's not how I am. I mean, I guess thematically and tactically and strategically, I am a hunter build. As a gamer in general, I am a hunter build. I want as few resources as possible because I don't want to have to manage a bunch of shit. I don't want to have to think about, who's taking my crap out of that vault or what I can call in Exiles, or who's griefing me in Minecraft. Run with what you got to play the game as you want to play it. And if you want to build a massive mansion and all that kind of shit, then play by yourself because otherwise, or play PvE, because otherwise someone's going to come and take it down. Because that's what PvP is. PvP is where people with aggro want to go do it. Now, I play PvP for the challenge of outlasting the wars, outlasting the griefers, outlasting the trolls, and the people who are there to raid and wipe and everything. Like right now, I'm outlasting on Conan Exiles, and I've been on that server. I've been on this one server for like 3 years, and I've been wiped a good 10 times, I would say. And within about a week and a half to 2 weeks after the wipe, on my own, no clan involved here, by the way. Within about a week or two after the wipe, I'm back up to full Falcon Force again. Because that's the game. That's the challenge of the game. That's how I play Conan Exiles. And sometimes I will deliberately build to get raided just so that I know that someone else is going to have fun and I'll have fun defending it and I'll have fun rebuilding afterwards. Because the ultimate fuck you to anybody in the world who ever griefs you or bullies you is to persist. Don't forget that, okay? And this is why I don't like throttled activities. I don't like it when a game deliberately slows you down because they're afraid they won't keep your attention. So, yeah, sorry this kind of meandered all over the place. Lots of digression, but I don't know. Pick and choose whatever you want. You're out of here.